discuss another crucial aspect of global governance: sanctions and enforcement mechanisms. These are the tools that the international community uses to try to change the behavior of states and individuals who violate international law or norms. Think of them as the stick in the carrot and stick approach to global governance. Sanctions. What are they and how do they work? Sanctions are like the timeout corner of international relations. They are penalties imposed on a country, organization, or individual to punish them for bad behavior and encourage them to change their ways. Sanctions can take many forms. Economic sanctions. These can include trade restrictions, asset freezes, and financial penalties. They aim to hurt the target's economy and make it harder for them to function. Think of it like grounding a teenager and taking away their phone. Diplomatic sanctions. These involve reducing or severing diplomatic ties with the target. It is like giving them the cold shoulder and refusing to invite them to the cool kids party. Travel bans. These prevent individuals from traveling to certain countries. It's like telling them they're not allowed to go on vacation. Arms embargoes. These prohibit the sale or transfer of weapons to the target. It is like taking away their toy guns. Who imposes sanctions? Sanctions can be imposed by individual states, group of states, or international organizations like the UN Security Council. The UN Security Council has the power to impose binding sanctions on all UN member states, making it the most powerful sanctioning body in the world. The effectiveness of sanctions, a debatable topic. Sanctions are a controversial tool. Some argue that they are an effective way to pressure states to change their behavior without resorting to military force. Others claim that they are often ineffective and can cause unintended harm to innocent civilians. The effectiveness of sanctions depends on a variety of factors, including the type of sanctions, the target, the level of international cooperation, and the overall context. Here are some examples of sanctions that have been successful. Sanctions against South Africa helped to end apartheid. Sanctions against Iran led to the negotiation of the Iran nuclear deal. Sanctions against Russia, imposed in response to the invasion of Ukraine, have had a significant impact on the Russian economy. But there are also many examples of sanctions that have failed or had unintended consequences. Sanctions against Iraq caused the widespread suffering among the Iraqi people without achieving their intended goal of regime change. Sanctions against North Korea have not deterred the country from pursuing its nuclear weapons program. Sanctions against Venezuela have exacerbated the country's economic crisis and humanitarian situation. The future of sanctions, a tool for good or evil? Sanctions are a powerful tool, but they must be used wisely and judiciously. They should be targeted, proportionate, and accompanied by diplomatic efforts to resolve the underlying conflict. When used effectively, sanctions can be a force for good, promoting peace, security, and human rights. But when used recklessly, they can cause immense harm and exacerbate existing problems. Conclusion: sanctions are a complex and controversial aspect of global governance. They are not a magic bullet, but they can be an important tool for promoting compliance with international law and norms. As the world faces new challenges, the use of sanctions is likely to continue to evolve. It's up to us as citizens of the world to ensure that sanctions are used responsibly and ethically with a clear focus on achieving their intended goals.